Ladies, let me tell you something, and I need you to sit still for this one. If a man treated you like an option, like a backup plan, like somebody he could pick up and put down whenever his life got a little boring or a little lonely, I need you to hear me clearly. That was not love. That was not confusion. That was not him figuring himself out. That was a man who knew exactly what he had and chose to treat it like it wasn't worth protecting. And baby, today, right now, in this very moment, he is starting to feel the weight of that choice. He is starting to feel what it costs a man to lose a woman who finally decided she was done being convenient. You know the feeling I'm talking about, don't you? That feeling of sitting by your phone at 10:43 at night, watching the screen, hoping, praying, telling yourself, maybe he's just busy. Maybe he's tired. Maybe I'm overreacting. Sister, you were not overreacting. You were reading the room, and the room was telling you the truth your heart didn't want to accept. He wasn't busy. He was choosing. He was choosing what to give you and what to keep from you. And every crumb he tossed your way, you picked up like it was a whole meal. But something has shifted, hasn't it? Something inside you cracked open. And instead of breaking you, it woke you up. And now he's the one sitting in the silence. Now he's the one staring at his phone. Now he's the one wondering where you went. And today I'm going to tell you exactly why that happened, what's really going on inside his head right now, and how to carry yourself from this day forward like a woman who will never, ever be treated like an option again. So pull up a chair, pour yourself something warm, and let me break this down for you, sister to sister, because there are truths I need to speak into your spirit today that nobody has had the courage to tell you. See, here's what most women don't understand about being treated like an option. When a man treats you like an option, he's not confused. He's not scared. He's not ready. He knows. He knows what he's doing. He knows you deserve more. He knows he's giving you less. He just made a calculation, and the calculation was this. She'll stay. She'll wait. She'll accept whatever I give her because she loves me more than she loves herself right now. That's the math he did. And every day you stayed, every text you answered too quickly, every plan you rearranged around his availability, you were confirming the equation. And I'm not saying that to shame you. I'm saying that to wake you up. Because the moment you understand the math, you can change the math. And baby, the math has changed. That's why he's paying the price right now. Let me break down what's really happening inside his mind. A man who treats a woman like an option operates from a place of abundance he did not earn. He believes, deep down, that there will always be another woman waiting, another text he can send, another door that will open for him. He believes your love is renewable, like water from a faucet, that he can turn it off and on whenever he pleases. And for a long time, sister, you let him believe that. Not because you were weak, but because you were loyal. Because you were the kind of woman who believed love meant patience, meant grace, meant giving second chances and third chances and fourth chances. But here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. Loyalty without limits is not love. Loyalty without limits is a hostage situation with prettier language. And you are being held hostage by your own good heart. Now let me tell you about a woman I knew. Let's call her Maya. Maya was 29 years old, beautiful inside and out, the kind of woman who lit up a room without trying. She was dating a man named Devin. Devin was smooth. Devin was charming. Devin had the kind of smile that made her forget her own name for the first 3 months. And for 2 years, Maya loved Devin with her whole chest. She cooked for him. She listened to him. She rearranged her weekends around whenever he decided to show up. She defended him to her mama, to her sister, to her best friend Rachel, who kept telling her, Maya, baby, that man is not treating you right. And Maya kept saying, you don't understand him like I do. He's just going through something. He'll come around. Sister, listen to me. Every time you have to translate a man's behavior to the women who love you, you are not defending love. You are defending your investment. And there's a difference. A woman who is loved does not have to explain his behavior. His behavior explains itself. Well, one day Maya woke up and something in her broke. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a crying on the bathroom floor way. In a quiet way. In the way a woman breaks when she realizes she's been performing love for an audience of one, and he wasn't even watching. She stopped calling. She stopped texting first. She stopped rearranging her schedule. She didn't announce it. She didn't post about it. She just went silent. And you know what happened next? For about a week, Devin didn't notice. That's the part that hurt the most. For about a week, he was fine without her because he had always been fine without her. She had been the one holding the whole relationship together with her bare hands. But then week 2 came, and week 3, and by week 4, Devin was blowing up her phone. You good? You mad at me? I miss you. Can we talk? I've been thinking about us. All of a sudden, this man who couldn't find 15 minutes for her over 2 years had all the time in the world. All of a sudden, he was ready to talk about the future. All of a sudden, he was noticing everything about her he had ignored for 24 months. And you know what Maya did? She didn't respond with rage. She didn't respond with a paragraph. She didn't respond with tears. She just kept living. She went to brunch with Rachel. She joined a book club. She started running in the mornings. She bought herself flowers on Fridays. And every time Devin tried to reach her, she felt less, not more, less. Because sister, once a woman wakes up, she cannot unwake. Once she sees the truth, she cannot unsee it. Once she chooses herself, the man who treated her like an option becomes a stranger she used to know. That's what's happening to your man right now. That's the price he's paying. He's paying the price of realizing that the woman he thought would always be there, the woman he thought was a guarantee, was actually a gift. And gifts, baby, can be taken back. Now let me speak to you about something even deeper, because I don't want you to leave here today with just a good feeling. I want you to leave here with a whole new operating system. I want you to leave here understanding male psychology on such a bone-deep level that no man will ever be able to treat you like an option again. Here's the first truth I need you to swallow whole. A man does not value what he does not have to work for. Say that with me. A man does not value what he does not have to work for. That is not manipulation. That is not game playing. That is biology. That's psychology. That is thousands of years of how the human male is wired. When a man has to earn something, he protects it. When a man is given something for free, he tests it. He pokes at it. He takes it for granted. He wonders if there's something better. Not because he's evil, but because that's how his mind is built. And ladies, for years, women have been told, just love him harder. Just be more patient. Just show him you're the one. And I need you to hear me right now. That advice has ruined more women than any heartbreak ever could. Because when you love a man harder than he loves you, you don't inspire him. You confuse him. He starts to wonder, if she's giving me all this and I'm barely giving her anything, maybe she's not that valuable. Maybe she doesn't know her worth. Maybe I can do better. That's not me saying it. That's his subconscious saying it. And it happens whether he wants it to or not. So the woman who chases, the woman who overgives, the woman who overexplains, the woman who over-apologizes, the woman who overtexts. She is not building love. She is building his ego at the expense of her own soul. And one day when he leaves her for someone who barely gave him the time of day, she'll wonder what she did wrong. And the answer, sister, is that she did too much, not too little, too much. Now, I know that hurts to hear. And I'm not telling you that to make you feel bad about the love you poured into a man who didn't deserve it. I'm telling you that so you never do it again. Because your love, your attention, your presence, your softness, those are not free samples at the mall. Those are sacred. Those belong to a man who has proven over time with consistent action that he can be trusted with them. And that brings me to the second truth. Consistency is the only real currency in love. Not intensity, not chemistry, not passion, not sweet words. Consistency. A man can tell you he loves you 100 times a day. If his behavior doesn't match, those words are just noise. A man can send you flowers, take you to nice dinners, whisper pretty things in your ear at 2 a.m. If he cannot show up for you when it's inconvenient, when it's boring, when you have nothing to offer him but your presence, he does not love you. He is entertained by you. And there's a big difference between being loved and being entertained. Being entertained is what a man does with a woman when he has nothing better to do. Being loved is what a man does when he chooses her over and over, even when there are other options, even when life gets hard, even when the shine wears off. Sister, the man who treated you like an option was entertained by you. He was not loving you. He was consuming you. And now that the buffet is closed, he's realizing he was hungrier than he thought. Let me tell you about another woman. Let's call her Tasha. Tasha was 34, divorced, had 2 kids, and had been through the fire. She met a man named Marcus at a work event. Marcus was fine. Marcus was educated. Marcus had a good job and a good smile and said all the right things. For 6 months, Marcus wined and dined her. He called every day. He texted good morning and good night. He met her kids. He told her she was different. And then something changed. The texts got shorter. The calls stopped. The plans got canceled. Suddenly, Marcus was swamped at work. Suddenly, Marcus needed space to focus. Suddenly, Marcus was going through a lot that never seemed to include making time for the woman he claimed to love. Now, Tasha, being a smart woman, tried to talk to him. She sent him a beautiful message. She said, Marcus, I feel like we've drifted. I miss us. Can we talk? And Marcus responded with the classic phrase, you know the one. He said, I just need some time to figure myself out. Sister, hear me clearly. When a grown man tells you he needs to figure himself out, what he is actually saying is one of 3 things. 1, I've lost interest, but I don't have the courage to say it. 2, I've met someone else and I'm keeping you on standby. Or 3, I want to see if I can get away with less. That's it. Those are the 3 translations. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to you or lying to themselves. Tasha, being human, cried for 2 nights. Then on the 3rd night, she wiped her face, looked in the mirror, and said out loud, I am not going to spend 1 more second of my life waiting for a man to choose me. She blocked his number. She unfollowed him. She deleted every picture. And then she went and lived her life like he had never existed. 3 months later, 3 months, baby, Marcus showed up at her job with flowers. Real flowers, not gas station flowers, real ones. He said, I made a mistake. I've been thinking about you every day. Can we talk? And you know what Tasha said? She looked at him with those beautiful, tired, wise eyes, and she said, Marcus, I'm not the woman you left. And the woman I am now doesn't have room for a man who needed to lose me to find me. And she walked back into her building and never looked back. That, ladies, is the sound of a woman who has learned. That is the sound of a woman who is no longer available for negotiation. And every man on this planet, every single one, can smell that energy the moment it enters a room. It is unmistakable. It is intoxicating. And it is the very thing that makes him pay the price for how he treated you. Now, I want to speak about what's really happening inside his mind right now. In this exact moment, as you are watching this, because I know that's the question burning in your chest. Steve, what is he thinking? Does he feel it? Does he even care? Or was I just another woman on his roster? Sister, let me tell you what he's feeling, whether he admits it or not. Right now, that man is going through a psychological phenomenon called loss aversion. Loss aversion is a fancy way of saying that human beings feel the pain of losing something twice as strongly as they feel the pleasure of gaining it. In other words, he did not appreciate you when he had you. But now that you are gone, the absence of you is louder than your presence ever was. Every place he goes reminds him of you. That restaurant where you laughed until you cried, he can't eat there anymore. That song that came on when you were dancing in his kitchen, he skips it now. That side of the bed where you used to sleep, he stares at it. He tells himself he doesn't miss you. He tells his boys he's fine. He posts on social media like he's living his best life. But at 2:37 in the morning, when the house is quiet and his phone is dark and there's nothing to distract him from himself, he thinks about you. He thinks about your laugh. He thinks about the way you looked at him like he was somebody. He thinks about the way you made him a plate before you made your own. And he starts to feel it, not love, not yet. Regret. Regret is what comes first. And regret, baby, is the beginning of his education. Now, here's where I need you to be careful, because this is the exact moment most women mess up. This is the moment where he starts creeping back. He might text you something small, saw this and thought of you. He might like an old picture. He might slide into your DMs with a "Hey, stranger." He might send a friend to check on you. He might even show up somewhere he knows you'll be. And your heart, sister, your beautiful, hopeful heart will start to flutter. It will whisper to you, see? He's finally realizing what he lost. Maybe this time it'll be different. Ladies, listen to me carefully. Listen with your whole chest. A man who is truly changed does not show up with breadcrumbs. A man who has truly learned his lesson does not test the waters with a casual text. A man who genuinely sees your value comes correct. He comes with clarity. He comes with a plan. He comes with accountability. He does not say, "I've been thinking about you." He says, "I was wrong. I hurt you. Here is exactly how I have changed. And here is what I am prepared to do differently. And I understand if you cannot forgive me, but I had to tell you the truth." If he is not coming to you with that level of humility, that level of specificity, that level of accountability, he is not coming back to love you. He is coming back to see if he still has access. And baby, there's a difference. Access is not love. Access is not commitment. Access is a man testing to see if the door is still unlocked. Lock the door. Keep it locked. And live your beautiful, sovereign, unbothered life. Now, let me pour into you the third truth. And this one is going to sting. But I need you to swallow it because it will set you free. The reason he treated you like an option is because on some level, you allowed yourself to be treated like an option. And I know that's hard to hear. I'm not blaming you. I'm not shaming you. I am waking you up. Because until you understand your role in the equation, you will keep attracting the same equation with different men. When a man tests the waters and you don't push back, you are teaching him what you accept. When he goes 3 days without texting and you welcome him back with warmth, you are teaching him that 3 days of silence is fine. When he cancels plans last minute and you say, it's okay, don't worry about it, you are teaching him that your time has no value. When he calls you at 11 p.m. to come over instead of taking you out at 7 p.m. and you go, you are teaching him what tier of relationship you belong in. Now, I am not saying you did anything wrong. You loved him the best way you knew how. But love without limits is not love. Love without limits is training. And you were training him to disrespect you without realizing it. The good news, sister, the beautiful, life-changing news is this. You can retrain yourself. And every man who comes into your life from this moment forward, you retrain them by having standards that do not flex based on how cute he is or how good his job is or how much you like him. Your standards are your standards, non-negotiable, written in stone, not because you are cold, but because you are clear. A woman who is clear about her standards does not have to defend them. She does not have to explain them. She does not have to argue about them. She simply lives them. And a man will either rise to meet her or he will remove himself. Either outcome is a win, because either she gets a man who loves her the way she deserves, or she gets clarity that this particular man was not the one, and clarity is a gift. Let me tell you about Rachel. Rachel was 38, never been married, had been through some things. Rachel decided one day, after a string of men who treated her like an option, that she was done. Not done with love. Done with lowering her standards to receive it. She sat down and she wrote out her non-negotiables, not her preferences. Her non-negotiables. Things like, I do not accept inconsistent communication. I do not accept being an afterthought. I do not accept a man who cannot articulate his intentions after 3 months. I do not accept public silence and private affection. I do not accept excuses that repeat themselves. And Rachel put that list on her mirror. She read it every morning. And when a man entered her life, she measured him against that list quietly, in her own heart, without ever telling him about the list. And the first 3 men who came around, all of them failed. And she let all 3 of them go. Not with drama, not with speeches, just with quiet, firm removal. Man number 4 rose to the standard. He communicated consistently. He made his intentions clear. He showed up when he said he would. He integrated her into his life publicly, proudly, without hesitation. And Rachel married that man, not because she chased him, not because she performed for him, because she stood still, held her standards, and let the universe deliver a man who could meet her where she stood. Sister, that is the model. Stand still. Hold your standards. Let the wrong ones filter themselves out. The right one will not need to be convinced. Now let me get spicy for a moment, because I know somebody watching this needs a little bit of fire. There is a certain kind of woman who's watching me right now, and she is sitting there thinking, Steve, that all sounds good, but you don't know my situation. He's different. We have history. We have chemistry. Nobody makes me feel the way he does. Baby, let me tell you something. Chemistry without character is a slow-acting poison. Chemistry will have you crying over a man who wouldn't cross the street to bring you a Tylenol. Chemistry will have you telling your girlfriends, but you don't understand how good it is when it's good. Chemistry, sister, is not proof of love. Chemistry is proof of chemistry. That's all. It is a feeling in your body. It is not evidence of his character. It is not evidence of his intentions. It is not evidence of a future. And the man who treated you like an option, he probably had incredible chemistry with you. That's how he kept getting back in. That's how he kept convincing you to give him one more chance. That's how he kept the game running for as long as he did. He wasn't feeding your soul. He was feeding your addiction to him. And there is a difference between a man who nourishes you and a man who intoxicates you. The intoxicating ones almost always leave you emptier than they found you. You know what real love feels like? Real love is boring in the best way. Real love is peaceful. Real love does not have you crying in the shower at 1 a.m. Real love does not have you screenshotting his text to send to your best friend for interpretation. Real love does not have you constantly wondering where you stand. Real love makes you exhale. Real love makes you sleep better, not worse. Real love makes your nervous system relax, not brace itself. If the man you were with had you in a constant state of anxiety, wondering, waiting, wishing, worrying, that was not love. That was a slots machine dressed up like a boyfriend. And you, baby, deserved a bank account, not a slot machine. You deserved something that appreciated in value the longer you were in it, not something that took your coins and left you empty. Now let me tell you what he is realizing right now. In real time, as you are living your new life, he is realizing that all those little things he took for granted were not little at all. The way you laughed at his jokes even when they weren't that funny. The way you remembered how he took his coffee. The way you defended him when nobody else would. The way you rubbed his back after a long day. The way you made him feel like he was more than his job, more than his mistakes, more than his past. You held him up in ways he did not even know he needed to be held. And now, without you, he is starting to feel the weight of holding himself up, and he is realizing his arms are not that strong. That is the price he is paying, and that is a price that no other woman will be able to pay for him, because no other woman will hold him the way you did. And every woman he tries to replace you with will be measured against a memory he did not know he was making. He will look at her and think, she's beautiful, but she doesn't laugh like her. She's smart, but she doesn't understand me like her. She's here, but she doesn't feel like her. And ladies, that is the poetic justice of the universe. Because the woman who was too much for him will become the standard no other woman can meet. And the man who threw diamonds away thinking they were glass will spend the rest of his life picking up glass, trying to convince himself it's diamonds. That is his sentence. That is his prison. And you, baby, are free. Now I want to talk to you about the power move. The behavioral shift that changes everything. And this is going to sound simple, but I promise you it will rewire your entire romantic life if you do it. Ready? Stop explaining yourself. Stop justifying your standards. Stop apologizing for your requirements. Stop shrinking to make a man comfortable. When you feel disrespected, do not launch into a 3-paragraph text explaining why you feel disrespected. Simply remove yourself. When you feel undervalued, do not sit down and try to negotiate your worth. Simply become unavailable. When you feel like you are begging for the bare minimum, do not increase your effort. Decrease your presence. A woman who explains herself constantly is a woman who is trying to convince a man to see her value. Sister, if he needs a PowerPoint presentation to see your worth, he is not the man for you. The right man will see you before you have to sell yourself. The right man will lean in when you step back. The right man will pursue clarity, not withhold it. And here is the psychological magic of this shift. When you stop explaining, stop chasing, stop justifying, stop performing, you create a vacuum. And nature's sister hates a vacuum. That empty space becomes a spotlight on his behavior. Suddenly, he cannot hide behind your emotional labor. Suddenly, he has to sit with the consequences of his own choices. Suddenly, the silence you used to fill with anxious energy becomes his responsibility to answer. And most men, when confronted with the sound of their own silence, cannot bear it. They break. They come running. Not always in a good way, but they come running. And when they come running, sister, you get to decide. You get to decide whether you unlock the door or leave it locked. And that decision, baby, is your power. That decision is the crown you have earned by suffering through his neglect. Wear it well. Let me tell you about Denise. Denise was a woman in her mid-40s. She had raised her kids. She had built her career. She had done the work on herself. And she had been dating a man named Kevin for 8 months. Kevin was charming, but Kevin had a habit of disappearing for 2, 3, 4 days at a time. He would come back with excuses, work, stress, family. Denise, being patient, would accept the excuses. But every time he disappeared, a piece of her went quiet. One day, Kevin disappeared for a week, a full week, no text, no call, nothing. And Denise, sitting on her couch on a Sunday morning with her coffee, made a decision. She did not text him. She did not call him. She did not send him a paragraph about her feelings. She simply blocked him on everything and moved on with her weekend. Kevin researched 11 days later, only to find that every door had been closed. He called from another number, blocked. He emailed, deleted. He showed up at her yoga studio. She smiled politely and walked past him like he was a stranger because emotionally he had already made himself one. Now, Kevin, being a man who had never faced consequences in his life, went into a spiral. He called her sister. He called her best friend. He wrote her a letter, a physical letter, begging for another chance. And Denise, sitting on her porch with her coffee, reading that letter, felt nothing. Not anger, not vindication, just peace. Because she had already grieved him during all those weeks of silence. She had already buried the relationship while he was still pretending to be in it. She wrote him back one sentence, just one. She said, Kevin, you had a woman who would have walked through fire for you. You chose to treat her like she was optional. Now she is unavailable. Please do not contact me again. And Kevin, that man, spent the next 2 years telling anyone who would listen about the one that got away. That is the price. That is what it looks like when a man pays for treating a woman like an option. It is not always loud. It is not always immediate, but it is always inevitable. Now, I want to speak to something a lot of women wrestle with, and that is the guilt. The guilt of walking away. The guilt of not giving him one more chance. The guilt of thinking maybe you were too harsh. Maybe you overreacted. Maybe you should have been more patient. Sister, hear me. The guilt you feel is not a sign that you did something wrong. The guilt you feel is a sign that you were programmed to prioritize his comfort over your own peace. You were raised, most of us were raised, to be nurturers, to be caretakers, to be the ones who hold the family together, the relationship together, the home together. And when a man does not do his part, We were taught to double our own effort to compensate. That is a lie, baby. That is a beautiful, poisonous lie that has kept generations of women trapped in relationships that ate them alive. Your job is not to hold up a man who refuses to stand. Your job is not to save a man who does not want to be saved. Your job is not to love him into being who you needed him to be. Your only job, your first job, your most sacred job is to love yourself the way you have been loving other people. Radically, consistently, unapologetically. And when you start doing that, every relationship in your life will either transform or dissolve. The ones that dissolve, sister, were not built to hold you anyway. Now, I want to warn you about something because I have watched too many women make this mistake. When he comes back, and he will come back, they always do. Do not confuse his reemergence with growth. Do not confuse his loneliness with love. Do not confuse his boredom with change. A man who returns to you after treating you like an option is not always returning because he has grown. Sometimes he is returning because he has run out of other options. Sometimes he is returning because the woman he left you for turned out to be worse. Sometimes he is returning because he is between relationships and needs somewhere soft to land. You are not a landing pad. You are not a rest stop. You are not a place where broken men come to be temporarily fixed before they go break another woman. You are a destination, and destinations do not chase travelers. Destinations do not audition for visitors. Destinations stand still, majestic, and let the people who deserve to arrive. So when he comes back, look at him with clear eyes. Ask yourself the hard questions. Has he done the work? Has he been in therapy? Has he demonstrated a pattern of new behavior over months, not moments? Is he offering commitment or is he offering vibes? Is he coming with clarity or is he coming with curiosity? Because clarity says, I know what I want and it's you. And here is what I am prepared to do to earn you back. Curiosity says, I wonder if she'd still let me in. And baby, curiosity is not a love language. Curiosity is a doorknob rattle. Do not open the door for a doorknob rattle. Open the door for a man who has come with an itemized list of everything he did wrong and everything he plans to do differently. And even then, sister, even then, you have every right to say, thank you for growing. But I have grown too, and I no longer have space for you in this new life I have built. That is a valid, powerful, holy answer. That is not bitterness. That is boundaries. Let me speak now to the woman who is watching this and is still in the situation. The woman who is thinking, Steve, I hear you, but I'm still in it. I haven't left yet. I don't know if I can. Sister, I see you. I am not judging you. I have watched women stronger than you struggle to leave situations that were killing them slowly. Leaving is not a moment. Leaving is a process. It starts in your mind long before it shows up in your actions. The first step is to stop lying to yourself. Stop calling his neglect, he's just busy. Stop calling his inconsistency, he has a lot going on. Stop calling his crumbs, at least he's trying. Call it what it is. He is treating you like an option. He is showing you with his behavior that you are not his priority. And when a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time. The second step is to build a life outside of him, not to make him jealous, not to get his attention, but to remember who you are without him. Sign up for the class, book the trip with your girls, start the side business. Reconnect with the friends you drifted from because he took up all your emotional bandwidth. The more you fill your own life, the less space there is for a man who only wants to occupy the corners of it. The third step is to prepare, mentally and emotionally for the transition. Understand that leaving will hurt. Understand that you will miss him, even though you know he is bad for you. Understand that your body will crave him, even when your mind knows better. That is normal. That is human. That is not weakness. That is withdrawal. And withdrawal, sister, is temporary. On the other side of withdrawal is a woman you have not met yet, and she is waiting for you. The fourth step is to remove access cleanly, permanently. When you decide to leave, do not leave a back door open. Do not say, let's still be friends. Do not check up on his social media. Do not respond to the birthday texts. Do not accept the just wanted to see how you're doing message. Total removal is the only removal that heals. A little bit of contact keeps the wound open. Full silence lets it close. And the fifth step is to trust that your future self is coming for you. She is on her way. She is going to be more beautiful, more powerful, more magnetic than you can currently imagine. Her skin is going to glow. Her energy is going to hum. Her presence is going to command respect she never had to demand. And she is going to look back at this version of you with so much love, so much gratitude, because you made the decision that made her possible. Now, I want to talk to you about something we don't discuss enough. And that is the way that other women can either lift you up or drag you back into the pit. Be careful, sister, who you talk to during this season. Some of your friends will not want to see you win. Some of them will secretly benefit from you being smaller than you are. Some of them will tell you, just give him one more chance, because they don't know how to be around a woman who has finally chosen herself. Choose your counsel wisely. Surround yourself with women who have healed, women who are healing, women who love you enough to tell you the truth, even when it stings. And be that kind of woman for the sisters around you. Be the woman who tells another woman, baby, that man is not treating you right and you deserve more. Be the woman who sends the empowering text at the right moment. Be the woman who reminds another woman of who she is when she has forgotten. Because we rise together, sister, or we don't rise at all. Now, let me get to the part that a lot of women don't want to hear, but that is going to save your life. You have to forgive him, not for him, for you. Forgiveness is not saying that what he did was okay. Forgiveness is not saying you want him back. Forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is releasing the weight of his choices from your shoulders so that you can walk into your future without dragging him behind you. As long as you are angry at him, he still lives rent-free in your mind. As long as you are plotting his downfall, you are still spending mental energy on him. As long as you are hoping to see him crumble, you are still connected to him. And baby, you are not free while you are connected. Freedom requires release. Release him. Not because he deserves it. Because you deserve to walk unburdened. Say it out loud if you need to. I release you. I release the memory of what we were. I release the fantasy of what we could have been. I release the version of me who tolerated less than she deserved. I bless you and I let you go. That prayer, that declaration is the door to your next life. And the next life, sister, is beautiful. The next life has a man in it who does not make you second guess whether he loves you. The next life has a man who calls when he says he will. The next life has a man who introduces you to his people with pride. The next life has a man who wants to build with you, not just borrow you. The next life has peace. Real, deep, boring, holy peace. But you cannot reach for the next life while you are still gripping the last one. You have to open your hands. You have to let it fall. You have to trust that the God who made you did not make you to be someone's option. He made you to be someone's answered prayer. Let me remind you of something. When a man treats you like an option, he is not lowering your value. He is revealing his own. He is showing the world what tier of man he is. He is announcing with every act of neglect, I am not the kind of man who can recognize gold when I hold it. I am not the kind of man who can be trusted with something precious. I am not the kind of man who has done the work to be worthy of a real woman. And when a man announces that with his behavior, the wise woman listens. Do not argue with a man's revelation of himself. Do not try to talk him out of who he is showing you he is. Do not decorate his ugliness with your imagination. See him, believe him, and let him be exactly who he has told you he is. Now let me talk to you about what happens next. Because you have released him, you have forgiven him, you have moved on, and then one day, out of nowhere, you get the text, or the call, or the DM, or the sighting. He is back. He is different, he says. He has been going through some things, he says. He has been thinking about you, he says. Sister, I want you to hear me right now. This moment, this exact moment is a test. Not from him, from the universe, from your higher self, from the God in you. This moment is asking you, do you remember what you learned? Do you remember what you promised yourself? Do you remember the woman you became when he was gone? Do not answer him quickly. Do not answer him at all. If your peace is fragile, sit with it, pray on it, talk to your wise women. And if you do choose to respond from the woman you have become, not the woman you used to be. The woman you used to be would have said, I've missed you too. The woman you have become says, I hope you have found what you were looking for. But I have found what I was looking for, and it is a version of me that does not have room for what we were. That, ladies, is a graduation speech. That is the sound of a woman who has moved on with grace. That is a woman who does not need him to be sorry because she has already found her own worth. That is a woman who is unshakable. And baby, that is the woman you are becoming right now in this very moment as you listen to me. You are already halfway there. The fact that you sought this out, the fact that you clicked play, the fact that you are still with me, that tells me your spirit is ready. That tells me you are already on the other side of the decision. You have already left him in your heart. Now, it is just a matter of letting your life catch up with your soul. Let me tell you what to do tomorrow morning. When you wake up, before you reach for your phone, before you check to see if he has messaged you, before you scroll through anything, I want you to put your hand on your heart. I want you to feel it beating. I want you to say out loud, I am the woman I have been waiting for. Say it 3 times. I am the woman I have been waiting for. I am the woman I have been waiting for. I am the woman I have been waiting for. Then get up, make your bed, drink your water. Look yourself in the eye in the mirror and remind yourself, I am not an option. I am not a backup. I am not a placeholder. I am a whole woman, and I am becoming more of myself every single day. That is the ritual. That is the daily discipline of a woman who will never again be treated like an option. Because a woman who prays that prayer over herself every morning is a woman who cannot be diminished by anyone else's neglect. Her worth is not up for negotiation. Her value is not decided by his attention. Her wholeness does not depend on his return. Now, I want to speak to the woman who is thinking, Steve, I've been alone a long time. I'm scared that if I don't take him back, I'll be alone forever. Sister, I hear you. That fear is real. And I want to speak directly to that fear because it is the very thing that has kept so many women trapped in the wrong situations. Being alone is not the worst thing that can happen to you. Being alone is not a punishment. Being alone is not a failure. Being alone is a season. And in that season, you have the chance to become the woman that the right man will not be able to look away from. You have the chance to build a life so full, so beautiful, so aligned that when the right man does show up, he will have to earn a place in it. He will not be filling a hole. The worst thing that can happen to you is not being alone. The worst thing that can happen to you is being with the wrong man and losing yourself in the process. I have seen women in relationships who were lonelier than any single woman I have ever met. I have seen women waking up next to men who did not know them. I have seen women who had rings on their fingers, but no love in their homes. Marriage is not proof of love. Having a man is not proof of love. Being chosen by the wrong man is not a blessing. It is a slow bleed. Choose your solitude over the wrong company. Choose your peace over the wrong presence. Choose your future over your fear, because the right man is coming. He is on his way. And when he arrives, you will be so grateful that you did not settle for less while you were waiting. You will thank yourself, sister. You will look back on this season and thank yourself for holding the line. Now let me tell you about one more woman. Let's call her Simone. Simone was in her early 50s. She had been divorced for a decade. She had raised 3 kids, buried her mother, built a business from scratch. Simone had been through some things. And for years, Simone had been telling herself, I'll never find love again. I'm too old. I'm too complicated. I have too much baggage. One day, Simone decided to stop telling herself that story. She started dressing for herself, not for a man, for herself. She started traveling alone. She started saying yes to invitations she used to decline. She started laughing louder. She started walking into rooms like she owned them. And one Tuesday afternoon, at a bookstore of all places, a man in his mid-50s walked up to her. He said, "Ma'am, I've been trying to get the courage to say hi to you for the last 20 minutes. You have the most beautiful presence I have ever seen." Simone smiled and thanked him. He asked if he could buy her coffee. She said yes. 2 years later, that man married Simone. And at their wedding, that man said, in front of all their friends and family, "I did not know what I was missing until I met her. And now I cannot imagine life without her." And Simone stood there, radiant at 54 years old, in a white dress, being loved by a man who saw her whole self and celebrated it. Sister, that is possible for you. That is possible at any age, in any season, no matter what has happened to you. The right man is not looking for a young girl. The right man is looking for a woman who has done the work. And you, baby, are doing the work right now, this moment. By listening to this, you are doing the work. Now, as I bring this home, I want you to carry a few phrases with you. I want you to write these down, or save them, or repeat them until they become the operating system of your heart. Are you ready? You are not too much. You have never been too much. You will never be too much. You are not asking for too much. You are asking for what you deserve. You are not too emotional. You are appropriately responsive to a situation that was harming you. You are not crazy. You were reading real signals in a real situation. You are not hard to love. You are hard to keep for a man who has not done the work. You are not running out of time. You are running toward the right time. You are not the problem. You were the answer he was not ready to receive. Say those to yourself every morning until you believe them, and then say them again the day you finally do. The man who treated you like an option is paying the price right now. But do not spend one more second of your precious life thinking about the price he is paying. Spend that energy on the woman you are becoming, because she is spectacular, sister. She is radiant. She is unbothered. She is magnetic. She is exactly the kind of woman that the right man will move heaven and earth to be worthy of. Carry yourself like a woman who knows. Walk like a woman who has been through the fire and did not burn. Speak like a woman whose words are worth their weight in gold. Love like a woman who has learned that her love is a gift, not a guarantee. And the next time a man tries to treat you like an option, remember this: you are not a menu. You are the whole restaurant. You do not get sampled. You do not get taste tested. You do not get considered alongside other choices. You are the destination, or you are nothing. That is your standard from this day forward. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are not too late. You are not too early. You are exactly enough, exactly on time, exactly the woman God made you to be. He treated you like an option. Now he is paying the price. But you, sister, you are collecting a different kind of currency. You are collecting peace. You are collecting self-respect. You are collecting the kind of confidence that no man can give you and no man can take away. That is the wealth of a woman who has finally come home to herself. If this hit your spirit today, if any of these words felt like they were spoken directly to your heart, I want you to do something for me. Drop a heart in the comments and share this with another sister who needs to hear it. Because somewhere out there, there is a woman sitting on her couch tonight, wondering if she is crazy, wondering if she is asking for too much, wondering if she will ever be enough. And your one share could be the moment she finally wakes up. We rise together, ladies. We rise together, or we don't rise at all. And I believe with everything in me that this is your season to rise, your season to reclaim, your season to remember exactly who you are and exactly what you deserve. He treated you like an option. But the truth is, sister, you were never an option. You were the choice. He just was not wise enough to make it. And now, the woman he lost is becoming the woman he will never forget. And the woman that the right man will spend the rest of his life thanking God for. Stand tall. Walk in your power. And never, ever, for the rest of your beautiful life, let anyone convince you that you are anything less than the answered prayer that you are. You are not an option. You are the whole reason. And baby, from this day forward, you carry yourself like you know it.